Hello everyone. This is going to be a lengthy video, just be forewarned. I'm here to introduce my new module design, what I refer to as my ZA startup module. Now this is the hardware prototype. The original will look something similar, but it'll come in a nice little box and everything, just like my normal main module does. And the purpose of this module is to control the ZA dash to when it gets 12 volts, and also allow for the vehicle ignition key on to turn the dash on and to turn the dash off when the key goes off, as well as give you a key fob operation. Now, the reason why I made this module is because for two reasons. First of all, as I already discussed, I believe it's important, and others have contacted me wanting to know how to do this for themselves, that a dash should come on when the key is turned forward, because you want to know what the engine is doing or displaying while the engine is running without having to hit a button to turn it on and off. When you get into your car, on your normal daily driver car, you don't have to hit a special button. I understand this is a customized vehicle, but it shouldn't happen. It should be automatic, in my opinion. The second main reason is because when a ZA dash is on in sleep or standby, in other words, just receiving 12 volts, not active, just like it's sitting now, not active, but it's receiving 12 volts, it consumes a little bit above or just about 300 milliamps. Now, what does that mean? For anybody who has a good battery in their vehicle, having ZA dash with 12 volts attached to it, 300 milliamps will kill your battery in less than a week. If you have an okay battery, your dash is the dash will kill your battery in about 3 or 4 days, honestly. By kill, I mean your lights may work dimly, but the car will not be able to start without a booster. So I have my meter set up so I can show you what the actual amperage draw is of this dash. And also my little, what I call a breadboard. This is called a breadboard. In order to show you simulate vehicle ignition coming on, and also other various things that control or interface with the module and the ZA dash. So what wires do you need to connect from my main module to a ZA dash? Well, behind the wires that go to the power plug, right here, there's 4 wires, but you only need to tap into 3 of them. The brown wire, the orange wire, and then 1 of the pink wires. And on my main module, I describe which wire goes which. Now I tap into, you do not cut the wires, you tap into them, because ZA made it so these nice little plugs plug directly into his replicated PNP buttons, which these are very nice. I do like these. These are nice. They're also LED, but they are very, very nice. I do like them. See what else? You also have to hook up to the dome light. The white wire behind the headlight is your dome light wire. Why? As I stated, this controls when the power gets turned on and off. So in order for my module to know when you are near your vehicle or want to drive away, when you open up your door or the dome light comes on, it will send 12 volts to the ZA dash. And that way you can hit the power button to turn on the ZA dash. It will. Or turn the key forward. It'll do that too. Now, if you just walk up to it without opening up the door and hit the key fob, it'll send 12 volts to the dash, and then it'll activate the dash to turn it on. There's a timer, a 30-minute timer built into my module, that once everything is turned off, the vehicle ignition isn't touched, the dome light isn't touched, the key fob isn't touched, the main button isn't touched. After 30 minutes, it will remove the 12 volts to the ZA dash so it will not drain the battery. Now, I also am putting a jumper in so it can be extended to 2 hours. So you have a 2-hour selection. It can be a jumper that you permanently put in, or you can hook it up to a toggle switch, normally open toggle switch, to have that. So why would you need it? Well, if you have a ZA scanner, the ZA Dash needs to be in sleep standby mode. And if my module was to remove the 12 volts, it is not in sleep mode, therefore the scanner doesn't work. So if you wanted to have it in a parking lot with some friends, you're at a car show, this will allow for you to have the ZA Dash on, operating the scanner while you're at a car show. Now, every time somebody opens up the door, the car door, it will reset the timer. So if you do have it set to 30, every single time that door is open and closed, it will reset it to 30, back to 30 minutes. If you do have it to 30, or reset it to 2 hours if you have it set for 2 hours. Other wires, you have to have a constant 12 volts, a constant ground from the car. You could use 14 gauge. I recommend 12 gauge wire. I do have an internal fuse in here that will, the 12 volt. It's a 12 volt fuse, but it's a 10 amp fuse. And this 10 amp fuse is what also is for the ZA Dash, as well as the 4th lamp countdown for your non-ZA electronics, such as surveillance mode, TVs, computer printout, as well as CD eject, and anything else you may have that you may have. Sometimes people want to put neon lights or neon rope LED, something of that nature. They want to hook up to that too. Or cameras. They want to hook up cameras to that, so that way the cameras are on when the dash is on. Let's see what else. I think that's about it as far as all the wires and interfacing. Oh, and you got the vehicle ignition. You got to have, when the car is on, it sees 12 volts. That's typically a pink wire. When you remove the dash cluster, you have these plugs here from Scott Benson. I believe he's going to start implementing an ignition wire in there. But at those two plugs behind the cluster is a pink wire. Actually, there's a pink wire in each one of the plugs. Either one of them is your ignition. The ignition wire is simply there for sensing. It can be a small 18 gauge wire to here. It does not have to be a thick wire. It just has to sense it. It's not really powering anything. Your real power, again, is the power and the ground. And I do recommend 12 gauge, but you could get away with 14 gauge wire, because ultimately this entire setup goes ahead and pulls, I think when it's on, just this right here is less than 2 amps. But by the time you put your TV on it, and the other electronics, your countdown, your two TV screens, you could easily get up to about 5-6 amps easily. So the 10 amp is why it's needed. All right, so let's do this. First of all, as you can see, everything is dead. When this little green LED is on, this is going to tell you that 12 volts is at the ZA Dash. In case people don't know, ZA actually has LEDs behind the TAC cluster and the Speedo cluster that when it's in standby mode, these LEDs are on. And right now they're off. So key fob, do it. You got to hold it down. And once you hold it down, you got the power lamp on. Everything's turning on, as you can see. And again, this green LED here is indicating that 12 volts is to the dash. Obviously, 12 volts is to the dash because it's on. Turn it off. You got to hold it down because you don't want an accidental press. So I have it so you have to hold it down for 1 second. And everything's turning off like it should. And once everything turns off, once the power lamp turns off, the internal 30-minute timer, which for testing I have it set for 10 seconds, you'll see shortly that this LED is going to go off. And that is telling you, see, it's off. That's telling you that no more 12 volts is to the ZA Dash. Again, that is for testing purposes. It will be for 30 minutes. Let's do vehicle ignition. Vehicle on. Oh, wrong. Sorry, guys. Wrong one. There we go. We got the vehicle on. Power lamp. Everything's turning on. Look at that. Beautiful. Now, how much power does this consume when it's on? While it's on here, we have 1.6, 1.7. LEDs are bouncing on and off. So therefore, some are on, some are off. But on an average, I would say 1.8 amps on. And this, again, is a basic setup. There is no steering pod here, no countdown, no TV screens or anything extra here. This is literally the raw ZA dash, and I only have the power button. We don't have the pursuit, normal, or auto cruise hooked up. Now, let's turn it off. Let's remove the 12 volt. We're turning off the key. Look at that. It's turning off, just like automatic, like I think it should have from the beginning. And there we go. And you'll see that the voltage is, the amperage is dropping. So now the amperage is done, and this is what the amperage is pulling from your battery while it's in standby mode right now. Little over 300 milliamps. And now you can see the 10 seconds has expired, and now we're drawing nothing. Just so you know, my module pulls 0.006 milliamps. That's why you see this thing bouncing between 1 and 0. So that is why I thought it was important, because it will save a person's battery without having to use a switch. I know I've heard Alessandro, I think he told me personally, correct me if I'm wrong, Alessandro, that you do recommend that people have a toggle switch to control the 12 volts to your dash. But this would actually replace that 12 volt dash. This is not recommended by ZA. He does not endorse this by any means. So please do not think that this is actually licensed or approved by ZA at any means. This is just a module that I solely put together because I believe that there's a need for it. I do. Let's see what else. So let's activate it by the key fob. Everything's turning on. Now let's say we're going to get in the car. We're going to go in the car and we're going to drive away. So let's turn the key on. Oh, poop! I hit the. Sorry, guys. I disconnected a wire here. I'm sorry, guys. I disconnected a wire. Let's do it again. And here I'm gonna. That's locked. I'm gonna leave it here, hopefully in camera view to show you. So now I'm going to move this and I'm going to give it 12 volts as if we're driving away. So now we're driving away. As you can see, the dash is still on. Now we're going to get where we got to go. Put the car in park, and now remove the key vehicle ignition. And now, even though I started with the key fob, it's turning off with the key. So how about that? Beautiful, isn't it? Does it work with manual activation? Yes, it still works with manual activation. That is why the dome light is important. You take the dome light, you make it go low, because right now it's obviously, right now, guys, it's got nothing there. As soon as I open up the dome light, as far as it's concerned, it's going to go ahead and turn on. See, there it is. And now I'm going to remove that dome light. I'm going to put it here. And now I can hit the manual activation to start it. And then I can hit it again to turn it off. There we go. Now, like I said, it's a 10-second timer built into it. You can't select it for 2 hours. Again, 2 hours if you're doing car shows. If you have a scanner and you want the scanner to work, like if you're out and about, you're at a restaurant and you're just showing it off, you probably want a 2-hour selection. You can you can hook this up to a switch. This will be completely different, but on the board will be a plug that comes with it. And you can hook up wires to it to a toggle switch in order to control the dimmer. So like I said, this was a little lengthy, was a little long, but I wanted to introduce you to you guys and get a full example of what's going on and why I built this, how it works. And this will come in a box that's mountable with flanges. I will be making a manual for it, so for people to have an understanding of how to operate it. So thank you very much. ZA, I think these dash electronics are pretty good. I do. I personally, everybody's got an opinion. I wish that vehicle ignition was actually a feature that your dash was able to utilize. But these replica buttons, I think these are actually pretty good. I do like these too. These are LED. And thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.